Last week, I was at Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, where I met a bunch of different entrepreneurs and social media managers from around the world. And I led the roundtable talks about Pinterest. And in this video, I'm sharing all the Q&As that came out of the conference. And it's not all business though. I got to explore San Diego and the local eats, so stick around to the end of this video to see my recommendations. The first question comes about just about every single time I talk about Pinterest. And that question is, how many times to post on Pinterest? I know, so-and-so said you've got to post 50 times a day in order for you to get any kind of success on Pinterest. Or maybe you've heard 11 times per day. Listen, I got results on Pinterest to an engaged audience where I only posted once a day. So I'm not really sure where this idea of posting so much content came about. But in today's world in Pinterest, it's not necessary. So here's the scoop. Post however many times you can manage and stay consistent with it. If that means posting 3 times a week or once a day, pick it and stick with it because Pinterest learns and adapts to our cadence. Up next is what's the right pin size for Pinterest. If you've been around Pinterest a little while, you've likely seen super long listicles and infographics. Those days are gone. Pinterest specifically tells us the optimal pin size for engagement, and it's a 2:3 ratio for images and 9:16 for video content. Should I post other people's content? Yes, no, and it depends. Yes, go for it if you're pinning for pleasure because you have a hobby or you're taking on a new project like a bathroom remodel. But if you're using Pinterest for business, the point of using Pinterest is to drive traffic to your website and your offers. So sending your audience away to other people's content is not ideal. Kind of defeats the purpose of Pinterest, which leads me into my next question. What's the point of Pinterest? If you find yourself saying, I don't get Pinterest, then you're not alone. I said the exact same thing several years ago, like how do they even make money and how are businesses using Pinterest? Pinterest is a publicly traded company, which means they are answerable to their shareholders and stakeholders. They also make their revenue through ads on the platform and through partnerships with Amazon and now Google. But back to the point, Pinterest for Business helps you get discovered, especially to new audiences like 498 million active users, tapping into new eyeballs that you wouldn't have had access to before. Plus, Pinterest is an excellent traffic driver to places on the internet you own, like your website and your email subscriber list. I like to think of each and every Pinterest pin as a free ad. You're getting reach and discovery from each and every pin you post, and you get to direct the viewers to a link that you own the URL. That sounds a lot like an ad. How do I create content for Pinterest? Pinterest is a visual discovery search engine. That means it's a visual platform built on the foundation of a search engine. The key to creating content on Pinterest is to create visual interest, not to be boring. You might come to Pinterest expecting all things pretty, but that isn't the prerequisite to success. The key is to have compelling content. How do you get views on Pinterest? Time is the most important thing we own. And it's also limited too. Why would we just give away our attention when it's limited? We wouldn't. That's why getting views is about getting attention, and you get attention by not being boring. If your pins are drowning in a sea of sameness, that means your content isn't that great or not juicy enough to grab and retain attention. So the key to views on Pinterest is the same as views on YouTube. You need a hook. This is the perfect time to introduce my 3-point hook hierarchy. When you're seeking all the eyeballs on your content, you can do it by hooking your audience. The first point is hooking with the pin visual. Show them something that will stop their scroll. Show them something that will slow the scroll and disrupt the pattern. Second point is the pin title. The pin title is where viewers go to learn more, especially if they aren't sure that the pin will interest them. It gives more context about what the pin is about. And the third point is the pin description. If the viewer has come this far, they're looking to learn about the pin before clicking through to your website. If you successfully hook the viewer with visuals, then the title, and then the description, you're creating a bridge for them to walk across to the pin URL. And this is the perfect introduction to the last question. Do you have to have a URL for each pin? The answer is you don't. There is such a thing as no-click content. This means that you share pins on Pinterest without sending them away to a link on the pin. But if you're using Pinterest for business, not including a link is like missing the point. And the point is to use Pinterest as a traffic driver to your website, offers, and landing pages. Okay, we got through the Q&A questions. Now let's take a peek at the fun things that I got to do in San Diego. Day 1, I visited Balboa Park. They have a beautiful Japanese friendship garden. There was a festival and I grabbed some Japanese food. It's a fun area. You never know what you're going to see. Then off to Old Town to grab drinks and dinner, and I especially love Mexican food. The next day, we stood in line super early to visit Morning Glory. So worth it though, with delicious pancakes, a side of hash browns, and a random egg salad sandwich. Yes, I'm the person that films their food before eating it. Then it was off to dinner across the bay to Coronado Island. I got to see incredible views and devour this delicious, freshly made pasta. And finally, finished the trip with dinner at Pomegranate, where I got this vegan salad sampler with fresh baked bread. Thanks for joining me for this hybrid Pinterest Q&A and food blog, I guess. By the way, if you want more Pinterest for business videos, check out these videos here.